Hi, my lovelies. How are you doing? So today I'm going to talk about borderline personality disorder in relationships. So how is it possible, and my experience with it, and some advice for people who are struggling with BPD and are in a relationship and for their partners. So let's start. Well, first of all, there are several traits of borderline personality disorder that can be really standing in the way of your relationship. So people with borderline tend to be really clingy, so they can kind of start smothering their partners. And since borderline personality disorder is all about the emotions and lack of control over them, so the relationship really suffers. And any relationship, not only the romantic relationship that I'm talking about here, but since the romantic relationships are the most intense ones, I think that they kind of get most affected by it, and people with borderline get the most dependent on their partners, so to say. So except for clinginess, there usually is a lot of jealousy, because people with borderline personality disorder suffer from really low self-esteem, and they can get really jealous even if they don't show it. And their fear of abandonment can also lead to some crazy episodes. They would think that their partner is constantly thinking about leaving them, and they might even leave first in order to avoid this abandonment, so it can go pretty, weird. And last but not least are the mood swings. So people who have borderline personality disorder have a lot of pretty much unexplainable to other people mood swings. They can go from really happy to super angry in a minute, and the other person can just not understand what just happened. And they can also idealize and then devaluate their partners on and off like this, because the black and white thinking causes us to feel this way. But there are not only bad things for a person who has borderline when in a relationship. There's also some positives. Like everything in life, even borderline personality disorder has its positives. So first of all is, at least in my experience, the feelings are really intense, but the good feelings are very intense too. So the love that we feel is really intense, and if we are happy, we are really happy to the maximum. Another thing is that people with borderline personality disorder are really spontaneous, and they can be adventurous, and they can just go on trips and do a lot of crazy stuff. So you will never get bored, and it will always be interesting to be around them, and they will always have something new in their minds. It can sometimes be nerve-wracking for some people, but I believe that at least it's not boring, so it can be a plus. Last but not least, I have heard that people who have borderline personality disorder are really good in bed. I'm not I don't know, but this is what I heard, so take it or leave it. I don't know. So my experience, I had quite borderline personality disorder, so it didn't show that much. I didn't have the crazy tantrums and jealous scenes and I don't know, public display of my emotions or whatever. So I kind of internalized all of my feelings, and for me every relationship in my life was kind of painful before I got into recovery. So romantic relationships was not an exception. But I think that what is important is for a person with borderline personality disorder is to find a partner who is kind of calm and not too easily startled, because otherwise it will just be explosions everywhere. And it might be interesting, but it's not stable, so you need someone really reasonable and calm. So the advice that I can give for people with borderline personality disorder who are in a relationship, first of all, it is very important for you to want to get better. So if the person sees that you are trying and you're going to therapy and you are doing your homework, they will know that eventually you will get better, and they will probably encourage you and help you. And if your partner really loves you, then they will maybe even go to therapy with you. At least they will understand what you're going through, and they will kind of feel compassionate towards you and know that it's not you who is a bad person, it's just the illness that makes you behave in strange ways, but you are working towards getting rid of it. So I think that it is very like a respectable thing to do. Another thing is to be very honest with your partner about your feelings, but not stating them as truths, but like tell them, I feel this way when you do this. And you can say that it's like, it's not logical, I cannot explain it, but I just feel this way, so can you please do or not do this and that. And usually if you are honest and sincere about your feelings, then there is no reason why they can not do it, or why they cannot like help you with something, you know. One more thing is to know your triggers. So if you know for sure what triggers you and causes like strong emotions, or I don't know, tears, whatever, you can avoid it, or you can work towards like not being triggered with it anymore by approaching it more and more and more, so that it becomes familiar and you do not feel that strongly about it anymore. And also tell these triggers to your partner. So if you have like a trigger word or something, then they can kind of pay attention to avoid it while you haven't gotten used to it, because, well, I mean, for them it's way easier to kind of just like avoid some little things that trigger you than for you to cope with it, especially if you are not too well yet. And my personal experience is that, well, when you have borderline personality disorder, usually you are attractive to other people. I don't know why, but it's just, maybe it's the like emotional behavior, maybe it's just because like you are more expressive with your feelings or something like that. So you usually have like a lot of people who are like around you, and you can look at them and think that they are better than your partner, and they might like pay more attention to you or something like that. And that happened to me on like multiple occasions. But what helps me is to always remind myself that these people do not know me, they don't know anything about me, and they only see the like outward, you know, part of me, and they have never been with me through like the hardships, and they have never seen me in my very, very low states, and my partner has. And this just, you know, it will keep you from doing any like rash decisions or anything stupid. Just remember that your partner is always there for you, and that they love you the way you are. And it is actually a lot. I mean, it's a lot to just live with just a regular person, and living with a person who has borderline is probably way, way, way harder than that. So you've got to respect that and love them for that. Now to my advice for partners of people who have borderline personality disorder. So first of all, you are very strong, and I really respect you if you wish to stay and help your loved one get through this. But you will have to prepare for it to be a process. So it can take months, it can take years for them to fully heal. So please be patient and know that there are usually some setbacks. They can go back to their like old routines and habits, but it doesn't mean that the treatment is not working. So please do not like say anything like, why are you even going to therapy, it's not helping, or like you will never get better, like you are already in therapy for like half a year and you haven't gotten like way better. Just know that everyone takes their own amount of time, and if they are really trying to get help and get better, and if they admit that they have a problem, then most likely they will get better sooner or later. You will notice progress in time, and when you notice this progress, don't forget to encourage them. Like, notice it, say it out loud that, well, I see that you are way better now. I see that you have improved and that your hard work is paying off. But don't put too much pressure on people who just started recovering, because when you get out of this very bad state of mind, it seems like you can go and climb mountains and be successful in every way, but sometimes you just need to take baby steps. So if you see that your partner got a little bit better, don't put all the pressure on them, because it can just take them back to where they started or even make it worse. I know that it's very hard, but try not to blame them for their like irrational behavior. Don't call them crazy. This is very, very like painful, and it's very offensive for a person who's struggling with borderline, because we know that there is something wrong with us. Sometimes we cannot help acting this way. Just I know that it can be really annoying, but just try to be a bigger person, a better person, because I mean, it's them who are suffering, and they are only behaving this way because they are really, 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 really hurting inside. And the last thing is that, I mean, just believe that they will get better, because if you don't believe it, it will also drag them down. And if you believe that your loved one can recover and you reinforce this belief in them, it will help them so much. And you cannot even underestimate the importance of support of your loved ones when you are in recovery. So I think that was all that I wanted to say. I hope that you found it helpful. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching my videos, and I will see you in the next one. Be a nice human, and goodbye.